Hi, this is Thomas from Apex Game Tools. In this video I'm going to look at the steer for separation component in Apex Steer. If you haven't already watched the video on the steering scanner, I would recommend you watch that before you watch this. So, steer for separation is a component that will keep a unit at a certain distance to other units within its group. So let's have a look at the different options. The first option, maximum units to consider, controls how many other units the unit will be looking at when it needs to determine whether or not it needs to separate. Now this requires that the scanner has the option of sorting other units by distance enabled, because obviously we want to, if we limit ourselves to a certain number of units, we need to look at the 10 or so, or whatever setting is here, closest units. Now to get the maximum performance here can be a little tricky. So as mentioned in the steering scanner video, sorting units by the distance is by far the most costly part of the scanner logic, but it enables us to, in this case, limit our search for other units to just the 10 first in the list, because we already know who's closest to us. If you disable sorting by distance on the scanner, this is not honored, so that the unit will actually look at all other members in its group to find out if it needs to separate from any of them. Which is faster depends on the size of the group. So you will have to experiment with the size of your groups on average to see if it is worth sorting by distance and then having a maximum to consider, or if you just want to consider all and then not sort at all. However, there are other components that will also affect this decision, such as unit avoidance. Alright, hope that makes sense. So moving on to separation strength, this is much simpler. It is simply the strength by which the unit will separate from other units. It is basically there to control the smoothness of the separation so that it doesn't separate too strongly. The default value should be fine in most cases. Next up we have the separation distance, so that this is the distance that units will aim to keep between each other. And then we have the minimum force magnitude. This controls to what extent the unit will actually do separation. It will need a minimum force of this to actually do separation. So this is just a lower boundary to stop units from jittering too much at very low velocities. And finally we have the blocked cell neighbors behavior. Steer for separation can cause units to actually try to walk into walls because they try to separate from other units, but when they do that they will actually separate into a wall. So in order to prevent that, and in unison with the blocked cell repulsion, you have some options to control how separation works when blocked neighbors are nearby. So if a unit has a blocked neighbor, that is a blocked cell as its neighbor, it can do one of three things. The first is it can avoid collision. So this means that it will actually not honor the separation distance, but it will make sure that it does not collide with its group members. So it will move very close to other group members, but it will not collide with them. Maintain full separation, well, it will just work as it does normally, even if it has blocked cell neighbors, so it will keep the full separation distance no matter what. And finally you have a disable option, which will completely disable separation if the unit has blocked cell neighbors. So that's it for separation. See you in the next video.